Welcome to our Devos this week, where we are talking about calm hearts in the midst of troublous times. If you are thinking that this is a calm time to be alive, you are mistaken. We are living through a lot of weird historical things, not the least of which is an upcoming presidential election, just less than 6 months away. And so it's important for us to center our focus on what we can do, which means we have to be aware of what is going on in our hearts, not just what's going on in the world. And one of the things that's going to help us is that we must keep in mind when we're dealing with the reality of everything that's going on around us that we are dealing with people. Those people, whether they're from our political side of the aisle or not, were made in the image and likeness of God. Some of those people are deceived. Some of those people are acting sinfully. And some of those people are completely consumed by what they're doing. But at the end of all of these thoughts concerning people, we have to do one thing that the scriptures expressly tell us to do. With individuals, maintain peace. With individuals, maintain peace. One of the things that we get away from is more often than not, and this happens especially in the political arena, we attack persons and we ignore policies. And it's part of the rhetoric. It's part of the left and right, back and forth character assassination stuff that's going on in our political structure. But we will do whatever we can to keep that strife alive, because most people believe that it's through that strength of hurting somebody or of being greater than somebody, that's where you win. But in reality, according to Scripture, as we are not really the ones that are, in a sense, competing for a role in the office, we are not the ones that are going to be running the White House. That's not us. We are voting for that person. So when we are dealing with people, we have to try whatever we can to maintain peace. Now notice, and I kind of want to stress this, you don't want to necessarily maintain unity. Now, that's going to be counter to what you're going to hear from both sides of the platforms that we look at, whether it's Republican or Democrat. They say, oh, the country must be united. Everybody has to be the same thing. Unity scares me. When it comes to the church, when it comes to believing in Jesus and the doctrines of the church, we're to have unity, meaning that we're all agreeing that we're on the same team and we're following in the same direction. But when it comes to some of the ideologies of this world, we might not necessarily have unity, meaning I'm not a part of your camp. I don't believe in you and I'm not going to believe in what you believe, and I'm not going to subscribe to that, but I will strive to have peace, meaning that I want to be at peace with all people. It says in Romans chapter 14, verse 19, it says, so then let us pursue what makes for peace and for mutual upbuilding. Now you might say as you're reading this, well, Pastor Sam, that's within the church. Like Paul's writing that to the Roman church. He's writing that to people that are already united, and he's just saying don't have church fights. And I get you. But there's also another thing that Paul says in the pastoral epistle written to Timothy, 1 Timothy chapter 3, verse 7. Now this is what would be considered a qualification of a pastor, that they are to have this characteristic down. But if it's good enough for the pastor, it's good enough for the people that are going to the parish. And this is simple. He says, moreover, the pastor, the elder, must be well thought of by outsiders so that he may not fall into disgrace, into the snare of the devil. Now, does that mean that we have to be completely diplomatic and not have any stances and not speak strongly against ideas? No. But I believe that we are to be people that when we interact with individuals, not ideologies, individuals, what people leave when they have an impression of us is that we love them, that we're caring, and that we have a good reputation. Most Christians believe they're being persecuted because they stand for what Jesus stood for, when in reality, most of those Christians are having relational problems because they are not likable. Again, argue with me and say, well, Jesus wasn't liked by some people, and Jesus had problems with some people. Well, remember, Jesus most often attacked ideology, demonic ideology held by the religious leaders. But when he was dealing with people that were completely the opposite of him, completely in a different space than him, whether it was a woman who was sleeping around, whether it was a tax collector, he was gentle. And he was willing to have conversations in a gentle way. We've lost this art. We've lost the ability to do this. And now more than ever, we need Christians that are willing to pursue peace with others while being different and while attacking, and yes, I did say attacking certain ideologies. Some ideologies that are proposed to the government and through the media are demonic, they're evil, and they're destroying our country. And we have to be able to separate and say, look, this is wrong, this is bad. I love you because Jesus loved you and he died for you and you're made in the image of God. But what this ideology is wrong, and I'm going to speak about it. I'm going to stand against it. I'm going to walk in the opposite direction of that, and that's okay. But when it comes to individuals, we must maintain the kindness and the grace that we see Jesus having in Scripture.